Erastus, Phoebe, Epaphras, Onesiphorus, Gaius, Tychicus, Epaphroditus. These are just a few of the names in the New Testament of those who supported the Apostle Paul in his ministry. My name is Chuck Matthias, Executive Director of Tentmakers Bible Mission. And I would like to introduce you to some of the people God has provided to serve our missionaries by working at the Home Office, where we facilitate church planting in the United States and around the world.
My name is Laura Seager, and I'm the bookkeeping assistant, so I help the bookkeeper. Sounds great, right? After graduating Frontier, I moved to Michigan. I worked at a bookstore for 8.5 years. Being in that bookstore was like the perfect job. I was around books, I was around publishers, I could see all the new stuff that was coming out. And so I got to the point where I was like, I'm really good at it at a job, but I think I could do it in the ministry. And that's how I ended up coming to be with TBM.
A few years ago, we began praying that God would provide someone to assist Helen in the accounting and bookkeeping. Someone that Helen could mentor and teach the ins and outs of working with our missionaries, supporters, and of course, lots and lots of numbers.
I had been praying for a way to plug that into ministry for about 2 years. Unknown to me, TBM Home Office was praying for the same thing. They wanted a bookkeeping assistant who was organized and detailed. No idea that I was praying that they were praying it, and that was God working. And so that's how I ended up coming to be the bookkeeping assistant at TBM.
We knew that this would be a difficult role to fill. Inviting someone to move to LaGrange and serve with the Home Office was also inviting them to raise their own support. Even more challenging was finding someone with the skills and even desire to work at the financial office. Add to that the need for someone who would work well with our organizational culture. We knew we were praying for a very special person. The Lord answered our prayers by bringing Laura and making her a part of our Home Office family.
We take care of the checks that come in for our missionaries. So I open the mail, I look over the check, make sure it's filled out properly. I just make sure that it gets to the correct missionary. And then make sure all the details are there, and we process the donations at the end of the month in payroll. It's been really fun to meet all the missionaries, and they're like, thank you so much for doing that for me. And I'm like, cool, I'm so glad I can help. We're detail people, we'll do it for you. So that's just a tiny glimpse of what I do as the bookkeeping assistant. Being in Michigan, working in the bookstore, and realizing I had this talent and a passion for it too. I was really good at it, and I loved doing it. And now I get to do it for missionaries.
From the very beginning, Tentmakers has committed to not take a percentage of donations from our missionaries on the field. Every missionary, including our Home Office staff, trusts God to provide for their financial needs. Because of this, we can identify with the challenges our field missionaries face in raising support, but we can also share in the blessing of seeing God provide for our needs and for theirs.
We have always operated under the philosophy that any money that comes in for a missionary and their ministry project, 100% of that will go out to the missionary to serve on the field.
We don't take out administrative fees, and therefore our home office and our home office workers all are raising support to support their particular ministry that God's called them to.
A challenge that I ran into while raising support was they didn't see me as a missionary. I'm here in the United States, and I sit at a desk and do data entry. And to them, that was like, you're not a missionary, you're not on the foreign field. So that was really hard to kind of communicate to potential supporters that I am a missionary. I'm not getting paid like a regular employee at my bookstore would. I have to raise support too. Yeah, I might sit at a desk, I might be in LaGrange, Wyoming, but I'm still a missionary. And I just had to really trust God to provide for my needs and say, you bring in my supporters, whoever you have in your timing, God has always provided. And I just had to remind myself again and again, it doesn't matter, you'll get there, God will take care of you.
We are happy to share about what God is doing at the Home Office, but this is just one part of how our missionaries are supported. It is through local churches, missions-focused families, and praying individuals like you that we can see our missionaries on the field and in the home office fulfill the ministry that they were called to.